What's good? It's your boy Lord Scientific, Black Power to God. Coming at y'all one time, man. Hope everybody enjoyed their holidays, Christmas and New Year's and shit. It's a hell of a year. I ain't gonna do too much beating around the bush. Go ahead and get straight to the point with y'all. Name of this video here, man, Prophecy Fulfilled. Because I'm about to tell y'all my story and basically show y'all how basically my life parallels the Christ story, basically to show and prove that I was the one prophesied to come in all these ancient texts in the Bible and all that, you know what I'm saying? So y'all niggas get your popcorn and shit. Hit y'all with the greatest story never told till now, you dig? I'm not gonna say never told, I done told it before, but it's official now. But anyway, I was born Samuel Elijah Pearson. Pearson, P-E-A-R-S-O-N, P, pineal gland, excuse me, R, hey, rule of war, God of war, son, Sam P, son, Sam son. You know, man, I'd go all day with this shit. But, and that's my mom's last name, you know what I'm saying? I don't know why, they didn't give me my pop's last name off the rip. I don't know. I think it got something to do. My mama's side of the family, you know, we kind of in a deficit for boys, so they probably wanted me to carry the name on or something. I don't know, but I once I got older, you know, because I always wanted my pop's last name. I'm like, I'm a man, I'm a boy, Damon. So I think like about 14. I got my last name changed to my pop's last name, which is King. And it's interesting because when you go back into Kemet or ancient Egypt, before the king takes his throne, he gets a new name. You know what I'm saying? I found that interesting. But Samuel Elijah King, Samuel Elijah Pearson, one and the same. You know what I'm saying? Samuel is the serpent. That's what that name means. Not in a negative sense. Not I'm a fucking backstabber or anybody named Samuel is a backstabber or a betrayer. Y'all let Europeans, there ain't no knock to all Europeans, but y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. Y'all let these people take words that have significant meanings and put negative energy on them, and y'all start to identify these words that really are words of power, but you identify these words or symbols or emblems as negative. So your whole orientation towards something that you should honor is twisted, and you're looking at it as if it's something that you should look down upon or you should not honor or whatever. Just like the word nigga. Man, this book right here, man, I done seen that word in so many different variations, but nigga, same shit. It just means the serpent, you know what I'm saying? Nagas. The Nagu, the Nagal. Matter of fact, there's a word on this page. They're talking about this dance that our ancestors used to do. The Ngalabal, N-G-A-L-A-L-B-A-L, N-G-A. That's nigga right there. Inga. Technical nigga. So no, it's Inga. You can probably say some shit like that, but same shit, man. Nigga. And this word right here, Ngalabal, let's just say we replace the L's with R's because the L and the R is interchangeable in ancient Kemet. You'd have Nigar, Arbar, Nigarbar, Nigarabar. Yeah, that. But anyway, man, I was born Houston, Texas, on the southeast side, dead end. And one of my the furthest back my mind travels in the realm of memory is when I was like 4 or 5, and that would be hearing Paid in Full on the radio and shit. And I used to always think that the God Rakim, peace to the God. I used to always think that he was saying if I strive, then maybe I'll stay alive. And I used to always think he was saying if I fly. And I used to always picture myself flying like Superman and shit across the sky, whatever. And I'm telling this story for one to reveal who I am, for one, but two, to be an example to you and show you a new way to start looking at your life so you can figure out your purpose and understand why you are here in this place. So, you're supposed to be decoding your life. You're supposed to be learning things. You're supposed to be learning this type of shit right here. You're learning about signs and symbols and all these ancient deities and shit that are all just different components of your psychology. When you see all those ancient deities on the walls in Egypt and all these other civilizations from the past, excuse me. People like to say, oh, they worship more than one God. It's like, no, all of these symbols and these deities that you see, these gods are all different components of one God, and not just and they're also you have what you call the elementals. The elementals are the gods that represent certain elements of life. You know what I'm saying? But you can look at all the deities as different elements of life. We use these deities to tell stories. They were like the same way you use letters to create words. We use these deities to tell stories because we understood that symbolism was way more powerful than speaking. One symbol can reveal or conceal many things to you. So, conceal many things to you or reveal many things. Reveal many things to you or conceal many things from you. I'm gonna get that shit right. But anyway, so now I'm telling y'all the Rakim story because it all links up later on down the line. But just pay attention. And then another one of my earliest memories was when I don't know who it was, but somebody told me the first should be last and the last should be first. They say don't worry about the struggle of black people or some of that nature. I was like 5, so I'm paraphrasing this shit. But they was like, yeah, the first should be last and the last should be first. Okay, bingo. And now another kicker would have to be when I don't know how old I was. I don't even remember this shit, man. But one of my cousins was babysitting me, and he had ran like a bath water and our water used to get real hot, and he ran a bathtub of like scalding hot water and shit, and my silly ass, I run in there and I put my foot in it, and damn, I started feeling like I can remember that shit when I started talking about it. I don't know. Sad shit. But yeah, I put my foot in it and I scarred my foot. And this is what led me to Kundalini activation at such an early age. Because I started raising my Kundalini when I was like 6. But I didn't know what I was doing. I just had a habit of doing it. I could be in the middle of playing and then I just stop and drop my arms to my side and just raise this fire up my spine or just make, because your Kundalini energy is like your life force, you know what I'm saying? it rests at the base of your spine. You have 7 chakras that run along your spine. Each one of these chakras are associated with different components of who you are psychologically and physically, you know what I'm saying? Like your root chakra, which is the base chakra or the red chakra, it corresponds to your physical life, you know what I'm saying, your personal self, as opposed to yourself in connection with the whole. The next chakra after that, which would be your sacral chakra, corresponds to like your emotions and things of that nature. Your third chakra, which is your solar chakra, which is yellow. The second one was orange. The third one is yellow. Just deals with your willpower, this, that, and the third, and you know each chakra, you know, has its thing. You know, y'all niggas, I ain't gonna do all your studying. Hold on real quick. But you niggas go figure it out. But yeah. And the Kundalini energy is a healing force. You know, that's why when you go and that's why when you look at the medical association symbol, that's what that is. It's a pole with a globe on the top, 2 snakes wrapping around it with the wings on it. You know what I'm saying? The wings represent elevation, the elevation of the snakes. So when your Kundalini energy, it sits at the base of your spine, coiled up. Kundalini, the word Kundalini actually means coiled serpent. And what you're trying to do is uncoil a serpent, run it up your spine so it can strike your pineal gland. When it strikes your pineal gland secretes melatonin. It's most active during between the hours of like 12 and 4 or something like that. That's why you know, and melanin, melatonin, and all that, it all corresponds to dreams. It all has something to do with your dreams. So when you sleep, that's why you dream between 12 and 4 is like some of the best time to get sleep. You know what I'm saying? Because you rejuvenate yourself. When your pineal gland secretes this melatonin, the melatonin travels to the heart, and the heart distributes it throughout the whole body. You know what I'm saying? That's what the whole symbolism of mummifying bodies symbolizes. You know what I'm saying? When you die to this world, you know. I don't want to get too much into that because I ain't got that much time on this camera, but I'll get into that later. Anyway, so it deals with the healing, the Kundalini. So naturally, so you know that's why when you get sick, your body heats up to burn out the all the toxins that's making you sick. That's why you get a fever. You know what I'm saying? So and that's what the Kundalini is. It's like a fire that shoots up your spine. And when the pineal gland secretes melatonin, basically what it's doing is because melatonin is a hormone that makes you it activates your morality and your spirituality. So the more this melatonin you got pumping through your system, the more moral you will be and the more spiritual you will be. But if your Kundalini is never raising up and striking your pineal gland and it's stuck in your root chakra, I mean you're lacking morals because you're stuck you're stuck on yourself. You know what I'm saying? But the medical association symbol, you got the wings on the globe, on the wings on the pole is the spine, the globe on the top is your pineal gland, the wings symbolize the elevation of the snake, or there's 2 snakes wrapped around it, that's your sympathetic nervous system, I think it corresponds to something like that, the Inga and the Pingala, something like that. But yeah, so I had the little accident and shit, and when that happened, I think that's what I think when my Kundalini energy was raising up to heal my foot, I just never let go, or it became habitual for me to keep raising it up. So I'm 6 and 7 doing this shit, and not knowing what I'm doing, but I remember doing it. I found out about all this Kundalini shit later on in life, and I look back and I'm like, that's what the fuck I used to be doing. But anyway, that's why I'm so advanced. I always been like 10 steps ahead of the game and shit. You know what I'm saying? So you had that little accident and shit. You know what I'm saying? Where we go from here? So you know, anyway, time passed and shit. Guess going to hip hop. Now, hip hop, rap music, whatever you want to call it, because hip hop is not just rap. You know what I'm saying? It's 4 elements to hip hop. You know, and then they added the extra one, which would be the mind. But the original 4 was, you know, the DJ, turntabling, break dancing, of course, rapping and graffiti. But hip hop is way more important than it seems to come off to when I'm looking at or come off as when I look at the way, you know, we regard it, especially these days. Because if you knew how powerful hip hop was, a lot of this shit that's been happening wouldn't be happening. You know, you're not gonna let him, if you know a nigga finna kill you with your own gun, you're not gonna let him get to that gun. Anyway, but I'm gonna show you how hip hop helped me and was a gateway for me into a higher understanding of spirituality. Because you know, music always been out there. Matter of fact, Osiris and Isis were both patrons of music and poetry, and you know what I'm saying. And speaking of Osiris, going to the hip hop, well, hip hop enters into this outside of already naming Ra. First, let me say this though, because this is key too. I mean, I was staying on, when I moved to Southwest, I was staying on Fondren. Had some apartments called Tiffany Place. Used to be lit. Fondren used to just be a fired up street all together, you know what I'm saying? All the chicks and shit used to be out there, you know what I'm saying? You had the Plit Theater, the Dollar Movie, whatever, niggas used to go mount up on Fridays and shit. I was staying over there. That was the year T. Jones, my mama got me a Oakland A's starter. You know what I'm saying? It was like green, the yellow inside, like the green Hirachis. You know, this before my favorite color was green. At this time, my favorite color was blue. But that was for mind control shit, because I chose blue because, you know, when you're young, when I say I chose blue, I mean when I chose blue, or I figured it was my favorite color, because when you're young, they tell you what blue is for boys and pink is for girls, and red was more so, red was closer to pink, so, but I gravitated more towards blue because they told me it was a boy color and shit. Now I found out pink is a fucking man color. Who knows? It don't matter. But anyway, so this cat, one day come through the apartments and shit, he had a box full of bandanas. I think he had stolen or some shit. I don't know. But he was like just giving them out. So when he came to me, he's like, man, which one you want? I got some blue ones, I got some red ones. Mind you, niggas was a gang. No, didn't know the first thing about no goddamn gang bang. So don't try to make this no gang banging shit outside of what I'm telling you. Because you know you niggas like to twist shit and create your own little fucking stories and shit. But, I took the blue ones. I said, I'm going to get the blue one because my brother's going to be a Crip one day. And don't ask me where that shit, what made me say that shit. You know what I'm saying? The shit ended up happening though. You know what I'm saying? And nigga ended up becoming a Crip. He wasn't the fucking Crip at the time. This is like in the early 90s and shit. And the nigga ended up becoming a Crip. You know what I'm saying? Now you gonna have some motherfuckers try to whoop doop de doop the shit. Look, man, I'm the source. I just said that just to give you some insight into how sometimes your subconscious mind can give you a glimpse into the future, and you won't even know what the fuck going on. Anyway, hip hop. I started rapping like 10 or some shit. You know what I'm saying? I was still a young dumb nigga, but not dumb, but young. And at first, when I was young, you know, we used to watch movies a lot, so I used to want to be an actor at first. And in the rap thing, never around that time, like around 6 or 7, you know, me and my partners and shit, we used to like act like it was a rap group and shit and give each other names, but it was just in a sense of a group. You know, we never did rap at that time and shit. You know what I'm saying? I started rapping. Well, first what made me say, you know what, this is what I want to do, is when I went to the my first concert, which was Crisscross. And I guess it was the way that the audience was just reacting to these guys while they was on stage. These 2 young fellas. It just like, man, this is what it made me feel like this is what I want to do. I remember I went home and shit after the concert, and it was probably was the next day or some shit, and I was acting like I was performing in the living room and shit. Didn't have no words and shit. I'm just mumbling some shit, but I was just, you know, reenacting the entertaining or the entertainment part of it. You know, the stage presence, showmanship. And then started listening to the Chronic, and the Chronic. What I used to do with the Chronic was I would pride myself on being able to spit these rhymes that these dudes were spitting exactly how they spit them, with the exact same time and all that. Not knowing that Dre was so meticulous with his artists in the booth, the way he'll make them say it 1,000,000 times till he got till it was all the way on point to his ears, to, you know. And I think that's why I became such a dope MC, because I'm mimicking them, and I'm trying to spit all they shit exactly how they spit it. And when they're actually spitting it, you got Dre that's making sure this shit is all the way on point to a T. Then indirectly, I indirectly absorbed a sense of time when I was spitting these rhymes. You know what I'm saying? So I started making my own shit. I knew when shit was off, and nah, don't say it like this, say it like that, or you need to tighten up right here, you know what I'm saying? Indirectly through studying these guys who Dre would coach through the whole recording process. So anyway, I started out freestyling. I didn't even start writing. I used to just freestyle. And my brother, them, you know, they used to rap. You know, him and his homeboys and shit. They had the thing they was doing. They was in the room one day, and they was, you know, doing their thing. And I was like, shit, I can rap. Like, you know how it is. And then you can't rap. So I stood up in front of the niggas and started freestyling. Blew their mind. Niggas was like, man, this nigga really got it. You know what I'm saying? Blah, 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 blah. How this young nigga can, you know, woo, 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 woo. So, that's how that started. And eventually I started writing and shit. And at first, when I came into rapping, the West Coast was like real prominent at the time. And the East Coast was like creeping back in, you know. Now we was all familiar with the old East Coast golden era stuff and all that, you know what I'm saying, from the you know, the throwbacks, like, you know, Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5 or 4, whatever it was, excuse me. I know that's hip hop blasphemy. Yeah, but you know, all the old heads and shit, all the way up to, like I said, Rod, Big Daddy Kane and shit, LL. Then this new era was similarly new to a young kid in the South. Era was coming in. You know, you had like all, you know, like the Duck Down cats and a bunch of cats with dreads. That's what we used to. That was one thing that stuck out about us, about the East Coast cats. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them cats had dreads and shit. And Dies Effects, we understood what they was on, But then, you know, this new era, niggas used to be like, man, what the fuck is these niggas talking about? You know, but you know, up there, they was always metaphor heavy, and you know, you had the gods up there and gods on the earth, so you know, they was kicking signs within that shit. So a lot of this shit was going over a nigga head because nigga was like, man, I don't know what the fuck these niggas talking about. You know what I'm saying? And then Old Dirty Bastard came out. Well, Wu-Tang came out. I remember on the SWV joint. Anything. I'm not sure that's the name, but y'all know what I'm talking about. When nigga first heard Wu-Tang, nigga was like, is these niggas Asians? You know, cause like we like that's an Asian name and shit. And then some on Arsenio, now this nigga's black. And what really drew me to Wu was Old Dirty Bastard. That was like the first, cause like he was like it was something about, cause he was like one of the vague, like he was vague like that, you know, he kind of fit that vague description I was just telling y'all about. But there was something about this cat, I was just like, man, I like this dude. You know, this nigga, peace to the God, man. Peace be up on his name. But I was like, man, I fuck with this guy right here. You know what I'm saying? Then he had that one line, what? You need an aspirin? I was like, oh yeah. And that was like my bridge to the Wu, cause from that point, like all the shit I was hearing from Wu that would come out, I was on it. Ice Cream, Bring the Pain, you know what I'm saying? Cause the nigga wasn't buying the album and shit yet. It was just, you know, whatever came on BET. So you had, like I said, Bring the Pain, or Ice Cream, you know what I'm saying? Shit, what else? You know, Wu shit. You know, peace to the gods and the earth, man. Peace to Keita, man. Oh, they be sleeping on Shawty, man. That's one of the coldest voices I ever heard, man. But anyway, so when I started listening to Wu, I always been a smart fella. So I'm listening to these cats, and I'm seeing that I'm like, damn, these niggas here, you know, they was heavy on the metaphors and shit, you know. So that's what made me say, man, I need to get up, because I'm always trying to figure, you know, sitting there listening to these cats, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck these niggas talking about. Now this is at the point now where it's like, a nigga not just sitting there like, man, I don't know what these niggas talking about, so I ain't gonna pay attention. It's like now a nigga's like, man, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck does that mean? Let me go look up this word and this, that, and third. So I give them the credit for making me get more in depth with the lyricism and making me want to say things that make a motherfucker think, or go learn something, or go learn a new word, throw a word in there that might make a person, man, I gotta go look that shit up. You know, that breeds education, or knowledge, I should say. And then you on the West Coast, you had Snoop and them. And Snoop was, that's the only, you know, back then I was like, Snoop was my favorite rapper. You know what I'm saying? And I still got a mad love for Snoop. But you know, as you get older, you realize, not everybody, but you know, I'm a complex person at times. But I understand, it's like I can't have, it's hard to say, oh, this is my favorite rapper, or this is my favorite rapper, because it ain't no best rapper. I feel like it's different categories. You have the top tier niggas, then you have niggas here, then you have niggas there, and woo, but it ain't, you know, you can say the best of the best, but you know, everybody, and it's all opinion anyway. So, but so you know, Snoop, that was like my favorite rapper, and when he came out with, because at the time, a nigga flow was still more so down south, because down south and West Coast is not really too much different. You know what I'm saying? And first, let me shout out Rap a Lot as well, because when you go back to when I was telling you how, you know, me and my homeboys and shit, we used to actually, one of my partners, he's kin with it, one of the niggas I grew up with, but that's seeing a group, the Ghetto Boys, coming from Houston. That is what made a nigga like, because it was me and two of my other partners and shit. And you know, we was like, man, we gonna start as a group. That's who inspired us to start a group. A group of niggas that don't rap. We was just looking at the outside of it, like we want to be a group. I'm this nigga, this my name, this my name, and this my name. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to the Ghetto Boys, man, because you got the Wu. Don't get me wrong, they lyrical too, but that's who instilled that. That made me, you know, start getting heavy on the metaphors. Take it to the West Coast. Yeah, Snoop, when Snoop dropped what was that? Hold on one second. That time going fast. Anyway, Snoop, he dropped the Dog Father, and he had a song on there with Trey D from Long Beach. Shout out to Trey D. But now I'm not saying down south wasn't lyrical. We was lyrical too. You know what I'm saying? But we wasn't as heavy on the lyrics as say like, you know, East Coast cats and shit. This is just my personal perception. We lean more towards the West Coast in dress and all that, you know, and dress the way we dress. We didn't wear dresses, but yeah, we lean more towards the West Coast, and so at the time I was nice, but I wasn't as lyrical as I could be. And then when I heard Trey D was like a West Coast cat, and you got lyrical cats on the West Coast too, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he was the only lyrical nigga out there, but it was something about the way he was spitting that made me say, you know what? I want to be lyrical as fuck and metaphorical. And it was like a Wu and Trey D was like 2 points where I was like, these niggas made me step my shit up to it, just to put it in so many different words. I mean, and just to make it clear, excuse me. But so boom. But you pay attention to the Wu-Tang element of this whole thing, because Wu-Tang, that's, you know, they're associated with, I'm not sure all of them 5%, but you know, for most part, you know, they're associated with 5% Nation of Gods on Earth. You know what I'm saying? And so that's a key thing right there. So where we go from here? Okay, so boom. So you know, now in the 90s, Houston wasn't really just gang banging like that. You know what I'm saying? Niggas was infatuated. I know me and my clique, you know, we was kind of infatuated with the whole thing, you know what I'm saying? We was gang banging, but seen it on TV, the videos and shit, and of course, you know, we looked at it like it was the gangster shit, this, that, and the third, you know what I'm saying? But, that was a time where I was like, nah, I wouldn't join the gang, because that's when I started learning the, ins and outs of gangbanging. And when I found out that, you know, you're superior or the OG, and now I'm finding out that ain't even how it was with all six. According to something I had seen, somebody was like, it didn't work like that with them, with they little Crip set. But back then I was like, damn, so you mean to tell me, a nigga come tell me, hey man, you gotta go kill this nigga, and I just gotta go do it because this nigga said so? I always had even when I was like young, I always had a mafia mentality. Like, that's the way I always thought. And reason being, because I looked at the mafia and I was like, man, because rewind back, when I was like 8, that's another thing. See, I'm skipping over shit. When I was 8, or maybe 9, or maybe 7, somewhere around that time, I don't know, between 7 and 9 though. When I came to the understanding of black people's plight over time and up until that time, you know, the whole slavery thing, the first thing that came to my mind was, well, evidently the people that had us in slavery, the white people had us in slavery, and white people still running the fucking world right now, who the fuck are they to tell us what laws and shit we should? I'm like between 7 and 9 thinking like this. That's why when I look at grown people today and they still don't get it, I be like, you know, and I'm not saying, I made mistakes and shit when I was young too, you know what I'm saying? But I was a thinker as well too, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, how the fuck who are they to be the moral authority when they done everything under the sun to get to where they at? So that's why I never respected the law, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, that's what made me an outlaw. Cause I was like, man, these motherfuckers did all this shit to us, and I was able to consume all that information without even looking at the situation from a racist standpoint. I was smart enough to know that, hey man, all white people are not fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I never looked at it like, fuck all white people, you know what I'm saying? But I knew the system was corrupt. And I knew the system was corrupt. And I know you did have regular white folks out there that was racist, but I also knew you had some white people out there that really, they're just white people. So, and another thing was, around 8 or 9, I was always, like I say, the reason why our people are not as educated as we could be is because somewhere around 9 or 10, you know, when you're young, a lot of kids when they're young, I was one, when you're young, you ask a lot of questions. That's because you come to your whole purpose of being born here on this planet is to know. It's to find out shit and learn, not to be out here fucking around and fucking off. It's to learn. That's what you're here for. Learn about who you are and learn about what your soul is so you can pass the test and not have to redo. Not have to come back and do this shit all over again. So, I was like, well, shit, man. I asked the question to myself. I was like, well, damn. If we came from Africa and we spoke a different language over there, but then you had this book over here that they telling us it's the truth in the way, but this book isn't written in African. I was like, well, what the fuck was we over there? What was our spiritual belief over there, or what was we reading over there before we got introduced to this book? And I asked that question, and I got the answer years later. Because when you ask questions, you get the answer. You just have to be aware when the answer is presenting itself to you. Like I was saying, the question why asks why. The why is in the shape of a cup or a champagne glass if you look at it. And that will make it receptive. That's the same thing with your body. Your body has your spine is going straight up and down. And then you have your right hemisphere of the brain. You got your left hemisphere of the brain. Those would be like the parts of the wine glass is going this way. And you when you see martinis, they usually drop an olive in the martini. The olive will be the pineal gland that sits in between your left hemisphere and your right hemisphere of the brain. All this shit is symbolism, man. The pineal gland corresponds to Osiris. Osiris has 2 colors, green and black. Olives coming with green olives, black olives. You know what I'm saying? But when you ask questions like why, you draw down the information. That's why is why is what you say when you want to receive information, because when you look at the letter Y, it's of a receptive nature. It's flower, it's open to receive. So and I think I dealt with that in another video, but anyway, so I asked that question and I end up getting the answer years later. We'll get into that. So, boom. Fast forward back to the mafia thing. I was always taken to the mafia because I was like, man, these niggas feel like these niggas like me. You know what I'm saying? This we need to be doing. They bucking the system. They like, you know, they above the law. So I always had like I was in the streets and I'm a street nigga, but while I was in the streets, I always had a Don mentality. I always had a Michael Corleone, Gambino type of mentality. That's why I didn't move off of emotions and shit. You know, dumb nigga just make a dumb nigga mad. He just, I know ways of dealing with niggas. And anyway, so, Wu-Tang is what made me step my symbolism game up. And hip-hop in general, but they was the gateway. And once I did that, that was key. Because later on down the line, when I started reading all this information on our ancestors and what we used to study and believe in back then, that's what was key to them, symbols. That's why when you look on the Kemetic walls, you see symbols. You don't really see no words, you see symbols. Because that's how we always spoke, you know what I'm saying? Symbolism is the language of nature. Symbolism is the language of the gods. That's just like when I get transmissions from our ancestors or glorified ones or whatever you want to call them, it be through symbolism. It's, you know, you can hear voices and shit, but with me, they speak through symbolism most of the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like once I started rapping, I would take my name, which was Sam, S-A-M, and I just create just different acronyms. You know what I'm saying? Stepping and mashing, similes and metaphors, et cetera, et cetera. You know, I used to just come up with different acronyms for my name and shit. Draw them on my notebooks and shit. And funny thing is, this ancient Egypt light of the world. Show you what he says. No better definition of myth or mythology could be given than is conveyed by the word sim. Now this is S-E-M, sim, but it's all the same shit. This signifies representation on, it's conveyed by the word sim in Egyptian. This signifies representation this signifies representation on the ground of likeness. Mythology then is representation on grounds of likeness, which led to all forms of sign language that could ever be employed. Now, mythologies, that's all the Bible, the stories in the Bibles and shit, and all that shit is mythologies. You just got to know how to decode the mythology. So if you're dealing with a book like the Bible is based off of all our ancient texts that we used to originally just tell by word of mouth, and then we start writing it down. But the Bible is just a remix of ancient African mythology. So you go back, first and foremost, you have to go back and get into the psychology or the mind state of the Kamites or the Egyptians to even understand how to operate within these type of books. Once you learn how to decipher codes and break down metaphors, then you can read all this information and synthesize the information. That's why I can read the Bible and you'll read one thing and I'll read you that same thing, but I'll take you into a deeper meaning of it because I understand the mythology that preceded it. You know what I'm saying? I know what to look for, you know. But when you look at rap, that's all we do. That's rap itself is mythology. You know what I'm saying? When you look at what we're doing with these words and you know, because what is a metaphor? A metaphor is basically the comparing of two different things without using the word like. You know, so same thing with symbolism. I might have this symbol just like the bee. The bee symbolizes the soul. Why is that? Because the soul always has, always will be. And that's how they look at the bees, because the bees and bananas, they can't trace, they don't know where the fuck they come from. So it said that the bees came here straight from space, just like the soul. So that's how the bee became associated with the soul, because just like the soul comes from, quote unquote, comes from space, same thing with the bees. They can't trace the origin of the bee back. So they were saying that the bee is so old, it's ancient like the soul of the universe. That's why when you see Candyman, when he opened up his jacket, he got all them bees and shit over him. It symbolizes that he has soul. And the hook in his hand represents the crook of Osiris. So candy, that's why the word horror comes from the word horror. Horror is Elder Horus. And he's associated with fear as well. But when you look at the rise of the Black Messiah, which would be me and all my other brothers that's on this frequency, this is what those people are scared of. And all these horror movies that they come out with, that's why they're called horror movies, because really the fucking, like Jason, that's a horror story, you know what I'm saying? Just like the father dies and resurrects, give birth to Heru. Heru comes back to avenge the death of the father. When you look at Jason, what happened? He drowns. Just like the sun drowns or going to the dark waters when it goes under the horizon at sunset and it rises on the east. Same thing with Jason. He died, drowned, rose up for revenge, slaughtered motherfuckers. You know how the story go. You got the mask on. The mask alludes to the great face. The sun is the sun you see in the sky is a mask. It's a sun behind that sun. You know what I'm saying? A black sun. That's the real sun. When Jason takes that mask off, his face is black. Anyway, where was we at? We're back to the metaphor thing. But you know, so many words, what I'm saying is through rapping and stepping my metaphor game up, which made me more symbol literate back when I was in school, that would set me up to have a proper understanding of how our ancestors used to communicate. And that's why I'm so good at deciphering what certain things mean and figuring certain mysteries of the universe off of that, out, if that's what you want to call them, because of hip-hop, listening to rap music, you know what I'm saying? I always trying to just figure out what this nigga was saying in this metaphor. What the fuck that mean? What that word mean? And what was he trying to say when he said that? It kept me in a studious mind. So to go back, that's what I was saying about the kids. When your kids are young and they go through that question asking phase, don't never shut that down. I don't give a damn. I know that shit get annoying, but you gotta let them ask them questions and you gotta try to answer them. Because, and when you do shut them down, when I say shut them down, I mean, you know when enough is fucking enough. You know, you let them get away with it for so long, but every now and then you get just to say you get a free pass, be like, okay, let me make it right now. But you don't never want to do that in a manner in which would make them feel as if asking questions are wrong. Because once you start, you ask too many fucking questions and all that old shit, you shut that down in them. So you start making them subconsciously feel like questioning in general is a problem. So they stop questioning things in general. The only time that, you don't always question shit, but for the most part, it shuts down a part of them that hungers or thirsts to know. And that's why motherfuckers don't be wanting to know shit outside of what they need to know to pass the goddamn test and shit and get on. But Never shut that down, man. Like with me, it stayed with me because I used to ask a lot of questions, but my old man never made me feel like I was wrong for asking these questions. So even when I got to like 10 and 11, I kept that curious mind state. And you need that because the more you want to know, the more you'll grow, because the more you'll go out and try to find out more things, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that part. So that's the key hip hop played in this whole story, because hip hop is what prepped me to be able to understand these higher mysteries I would go on and find out later on in life. You know what I'm saying? So peace to hip hop in general, man. Shout out to Wu, Trey, you know what I'm saying, Trey D. Shout out to the Ghetto Boys. Back to the Ghetto Boys. See, the Ghetto Boys, down here, man, we a little unruly. You know, we don't really play by the rules like that. And you can tell just by looking at the Ghetto Boys back. You go back and look at them. We was the Ghetto Boys was the down south NWA. You know what I'm saying? They been on that social political shit. You know what I'm saying? Fuck the war and all that. You know, so that part of me. That's how I started, you know, before I got into the spiritual aspect of the cult or whatever. And I just started off as you know, just like Pac and everybody else, you know, I was just a revolutionary with it, you know what I'm saying? It was like, I always looked at them as the opposition, you know, which that was cool too, because I understood that a lot of the stuff that we was learning about life was coming from them. So once I grew a distrust for the system, when I started learning all this other information, it was easier for me to absorb this information because I already had a disbelief for what they were saying. Or should I say, I didn't have that much faith in them. So that's what set me up right. So when I did start figuring out all these things, it would be hard to believe. See what time I got left with this motherfucker. Excuse me. Alright, 4 minutes. So yeah. So boom, we got that. Then it was this one in when I started getting into the whole hustling thing, you know, like I said, blue was my favorite color at first. And I was like, you know what, man, I'm gonna start my own gang. You know what I'm saying? Cause like I said, we knew about gangbang, whatever. And I was like, man, I can't be in nothing where another nigga just calling shots of me. I always had a leader mentality. You know what I'm saying? That's how I always felt. You know, I'm not saying that there's something wrong with being in a situation where, cause everything has to have a head that calls shot. But I was just wondering, like, nah, I'm not. You know, I couldn't do that. As far as the gangbanging thing, no disrespect to nobody after the gangbanging. But that's how I started my own gang. And I'm about money, so my color gonna be green. Now this is before I knew green was associated with Bloods, with treetop. I think that's their color. I don't, you know. But niggas used to think I was a Blood because I wore a lot of green. I used to be green down and shit. Green Bay Packers, Green Bay Sox, you know what I'm saying? Niggas still used to think I was a Blood. And I didn't know that at the time. I was just like, man, what the fuck all these niggas think I'm a Blood? Where the fuck this shit come from? Now I know in retrospect, like, you know what it was. And so my favorite color became green. And I used to rock the shit out of me some green, you know what I'm saying? Because it was the same color of money. Now money corresponds to Osiris because one of the things that Osiris is associated with is the green life or plant life. And plant life is associated with nourishing. And this is why they dye the money green, because green is the color of prosperity. When springtime come back around and the green grass grow and all the green plant life returns back to life, excuse me, you know, that's when niggas can eat and harvest and all that. It's whatever, you know, it's associated with nourishment and prosperity. That's why they dye the money green. So you can associate this paper money that really doesn't have value to it. It's legal tender. It's not backed by gold. But you can associate this money because subconsciously you already associate green with prosperity because your ancestors associated the color with prosperity. And we always did. It's like green, you know, you knew you seen green, you know, time to get down and eat. And Osiris connection with money because it's the energy of the sun is Osiris. So the unseen energy. So when the sun stimulates a plant to grow, and that plant grows, all the laws that because that's one of the things that Osiris represents is the law of nature. So he actually symbolizes or is associated with the fact that, I just put it like this: if I put a seed in the ground, pour water on it, give it light, and color, all that is Osiris. The whole process is Osiris. The actions, because the man, masculine, the man is masculine. Masculinity falls under the positive polarity, and one of the attributes of the positive polarity is action. Females are are passive. The men or the masculine energy is it's action. You know what I'm saying? Activity. So now I'm not knowing now. I didn't know nothing about Osiris at the time when I started wearing green and all that. You know what I'm saying? And then another interesting thing, when I was in the 4th grade, there was these 2 chicks. One of them was dark skinned, she was like brown skinned. The other one was light skinned. Now I always had a nice little, you know what I'm saying? I always been good with the ladies, you know what I'm saying? This is like the 4th grade though and shit. I'll never forget this shit, because they approached me and was like, we both want to be your girlfriend. I was like, wow, really?